Hey, didn't see you there. Just hopping in my 3rd gen Camaro. Or is it a 5th gen Camaro? I mean, am I right? Kidding guys, it's a 3rd gen Camaro, obviously. If you follow this channel, you know it's a 3rd gen Camaro. I have a whole series on this Camaro. This is just another modification I did to this Camaro. Now, I am lucky and I have a friend that has a metal fabrication shop, so he had a mill and like all like the lathe and like the stuff that we needed to do this job. But this job can be done without those things. I'd say if you had a grinder, a drill press or a drill, and like some sanding stuff for deburring, you could do this yourself pretty easily. But the only things you need to buy are a Camaro steering wheel, an airbag, and then what's called a Grant steering wheel adapter. I'm gonna link that down below. It is the most crucial part of this whole thing. It is what makes you able to go from your steering column to this steering wheel. And I'll show you how here in just a second. Again, I'm gonna link that down below. If you guys are into 3rd gen Camaros, you should watch my other videos on this car. I have a ton of videos on it, showing you how to do cool mods like this or different mods. So if you like those videos, you could subscribe to the channel. There'll be more, there will always be more on this car. This is just like a lifelong ongoing project. But anyways, let's get to the shop and I'll show you how we did it. Okay, so the basic premise is this. Here's your 5th gen steering wheel right here. I got the, I think it's the SS one. So it has, it's this. Looks like that instead of the more triangular hibbity bibbity, right? Sorry to use such technical words. This is the key to it though. This is a Grant steering wheel adapter for our 3rd gen Camaros. And I'm gonna link this down below. You can get these on Amazon for like $35, $40 just by themselves. You don't have to buy the full steering wheel kit or anything. You can just buy this piece right here. So the theory is we take that piece, we go to the 5th gen steering wheel here, we mill this down, this piece. Now if you don't have a mill, what can they do if they don't have a mill? Just spend 20 hours in a bunch of sandpaper? Grinder. A grinder? Yeah, you could use a grinder maybe. By the way, this is Dale. He has a YouTube channel. He does stuff in here, you should check it out. You could, with a grinder, take a grinder and grind most of this down and then sand it flat. We might also have to drill out like a drill press maybe and drill out the inner circumference there of those little grooves. But what we're thinking is this. Mill this down. We kind of index a little hole. What's it called?
Yeah, just to index it so it stays a little more centered on there.
So once we mill this flat, we put another like bevel in there.
Countersink.
Countersink?
Countersink to match. Let me see that.
Yeah.
We'll countersink to match this flange here. Hopefully.
That's a flange?
Sure.
That was a test. I knew that, dude. I didn't know that at all. We countersink that into there so that then it does, this surface lays flat just like, let me see in your hand.
Right there?
Yeah, that surface lays flat to this. And then we would drill and tap all the way through these 3 holes. They don't go all the way to the other side. We would drill and tap all the way through the other side and then put screws through here. Now we might have to take some of these wires and crap out, whatever, don't care. All this stuff can go, like all this little inner plastics and metal. We can disassemble that and take all that out of there so we have just a bare metal to work with. You're never gonna get this horn to work, most likely. You might be able to. You're probably never gonna be able to get the cruise control to work, nor the volume controls. This is just a aesthetic upgrade. It's not gonna be that usable. You're not going to get to use the paddle shifters, sorry guys, but you can have a 5th gen steering wheel in your 3rd gen. So let's get to it. And we're using a 3/8 bit, right? And again, if you don't have a mill or a machine shop near you, you could just take a grinder and grind that off and then maybe do like a little belt sander or like one of those little pointy belt sanders and get in there and sand it all even, or even like a little pneumatic like 3-inch sander or a 2-inch sander. You could throw that in there. Once you get it roughly cut, that could be an option. All right, so that is it milled. Now we're gonna go deburr it. And we're deburring with a yellow bristle disc Roll-Lock 3M. We got about 1.125" countersink bit, and so all we're doing is we're countersinking this hole so that that Grant steering wheel adapter fits right into it.
It's basically all
Basically, it's just creating a centered mark for the grant adapter to plug right into. So that's the achievement we're trying to unlock here. All right, next up is we are using a drill press. We're gonna drill through the holes in the adapter all the way through, and then we're gonna thread them, and they're M6 1.0. So we're using a 13/64 drill bit right now to drill all the way through. And then we tap it with this, and it's an M6 times 1.0. And this should be easier than a regular tap to get straight because the threads are already there to begin with. You're just kind of continuing the threads. Looks like you're pretty much through. Okay, so everything's threaded and tapped through there. All the holes are going all the way through. So now we transfer those holes to this with a punch. We're using a punch?
Transfer punch.
Transfer punch. We're using a transfer punch. Could they use like a Phillips head screwdriver and just tap it?
If it fits down through there nice and snug.
Yeah.
So that fits reasonably snug. The next size up won't go all the way through, so that's why this is.
Oh, so there are finer increments on those, yeah. I would assume, yeah. So take the transfer punch, mark our spot, and we can't move the bracket at all when we're doing it. Boom. There's the old center punch. Boom.
You get a better mark for your drill bit to bite and not land it.
Boom. Drill this. We're going to be drilling through like right there and right there, and then we might have to do a little bit of modification on that bottom part possibly, but this stuff, these plastics can go. So when I spoke earlier, I said all the inner stuff can go, not all of it. This wiring can all go, because unless you're ever planning to try and tackle the nightmare of trying to make these buttons work with your Camaro, I don't know. I don't have the patience for that. But this metal has to stay, because this is what when you put the airbag in, these pins are what lock the airbag in. So the metal has to stay, but the plastic underneath can be destroyed. It doesn't matter. The wiring can all go. You can do a lot to this. So we'll have plenty of space and plenty of material to work with here. We got quite a bit of room. Go watch Dale's channel. That's what you should do. Do you know that your the welding mask compared, the one that did real well, is almost at 80,000 views?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Well, hell, even the C25 first CO2 ones.
They're a couple thousand.
They're all over 1,000.
They're super informative views. If you're into welding, you should definitely look at his channel, guys.
Okay.
So right now we're using a 1/4-inch drill bit, and we're drill pressing out those holes that we just center punched. Yeah, so that's one more thing we're gonna have to do, is kind of like, you think a drill press? Basically you have to create a surface for these screws to lock down on. And they went clean through, and there's material, but we also can't have the uneven surface from here to here. So we need to mill out or remove some of this material so we can have a flat mating surface. Okay, so we got the grinder in there, and then we used a, what was it, a die grinder?
Mm-hmm.
Little narrow-tipped, one of these thingamajigs. We used that and just ground down around those holes and got real good. This is a reenactment right there. But yeah, we ground down all the plastic around the hole so we have a flat surface to mount everything to. Okay, now I'm back at the house with the old steering wheel off. New steering wheel's here. See, the back has been milled, of course. There's no nub. And I'm now realizing a few things we could have done differently, and we could have saved time, so this will help you, actually. All we needed to do was just mill this flat. We didn't need to make this beveled countersink. Now, let me show you why. When I put this grant adapter into here, and I screw it in, let me get it screwed in here. This like this, I can put this on, it goes on, and that's as far as it goes on. Looks cool, but this locking nut for the steering shaft can't go on. There's not enough room there to get this on there. This is like flush with this. So if we take and reverse this, and we put this with the flat side down like that, where the beveled edge is sticking up, which is actually how it's supposed to be, because if you can see here, this end is grooved all the way to the inside here, right here. But this end has a smooth barrel past the grooves. So there's grooves, and then there's like a 1/2 inch of smooth barrel right here. Now if you see there, you see the grooves after the threads, there's grooves going horizontal, and then there's like a smooth shaft after that. So this is supposed to go around that smooth shaft, and then these grooves catch this way. So the piece is supposed to go, if we're looking at it like that, the piece is supposed to go like this, not like this. But I'll show you how much better this fits once we flip it around. By the way, these are M6 by 1.0 22 millimeter screws. I went with that length so that they didn't poke all the way out. I could have gone like 25 millimeters. There's a little bit more clearance back there. But look at this now. When I put this on, I have just a tiny bit more clearance where I can actually start that thread on that nut. I can start threading this nut on, and it's gonna compact down to where I've got like 6, 7 threads on there now. I need some more, but that's a better start. I just said screw the snap ring pliers, and I just started snapping off all the plastic there. Anything that's gonna interfere with this little hump there. Now that goes on much more. And to be clear, I already didn't have an airbag or a horn hooked up to this once I modified and went to the Cavalier steering wheel. So I'm not worried about having an airbag or a horn. So none of those connections matter to me. And if you noticed, my steering column is already doing the wobble. So it's gonna have to be rebuilt at some time or replaced. So I'll have a whole new steering column to do this with. But now I can take my locking nut and I can start my threads way back there. They already got threads started. I get my 21 millimeter and I can start tightening that down. Just like that. Okay, so as you can see, it works great. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take these 3 bolts out that hold the Grant steering thing in. I'm gonna put Loctite on them and Loctite those down. Same thing with this, I'm gonna put some Loctite on this steering wheel nut just for a little bit of peace of mind. The steering wheel feels really nice. Steering wheel feels so nice, it's got good thickness. It's got these like bolsters up here. I mean, it looks classic, it's a 3-spoke design. I don't think the oblong one looks as good as this SS steering wheel. I bought this steering wheel from Hawks. They didn't send this one out to me. I actually just bought it from Hawks. I think I paid 130, 140 bucks for the steering wheel. And then my buddy happened to have an airbag, and then I painted the bezel black instead of chrome. So it'll be the chrome Camaro in the middle, and then the chrome SS, and that's it. So it'll look just like that, which is really, really cool. I'm super pumped about this. I love this steering wheel in here. It looks great. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. If you're into 3rd Gen Camaros, I have a whole playlist on this channel about this 3rd Gen Camaro and the modifications I've done to it and how to do modifications like this to it. If the video was helpful, hit the thumbs up button. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comment section down below. I'm pretty good at getting back to you if any questions you have. If you need to know like a random bolt size or whatever you might need to know, I can help you out with that. I'm gonna link the Grant steering wheel adapter down there. That's pretty much the heart of the whole conversion, is that Grant steering wheel adapter. It's like 30, 40 bucks maybe. So all in all, you'll probably end this whole thing less than $200, like $150, $170, depending on how cheap you can find your steering wheel. I had to pay like 130, 140 bucks for mine. You can find them less expensive, more expensive probably. You can find special edition ones. I like this one the most because it matches almost closely the silver. Let me show you. It almost matches the silver on the car. It's really close to the same silver color on that trim as it is on my car. So yeah. All right, guys, thanks again for watching. Have a great day. Bye.